Can I talk to you for a moment? Listen, our grandparents were right. I'm going to talk to you about why the future is going analog and why AI, yes, AI makes human skill more valuable. I don't think AI is the future. I think analog is. And before someone runs into the comments and say, "So you hate technology now?" No. You know I teach in tech and I do a lot in tech. But if you've ever seen or heard stories of people in Silicon Valley, they run from it because they see it in a whole nother light. And I hope this talk today will help you see it in a different light and where the two worlds may converge on certain levels. However, you will embrace an analog life more and have an appreciation. And the only thing we have to do is look to our grandparents and our elders. So, no, I'm not against technology. Okay. I teach in tech. That is not what I'm saying. Radio is technology. A landline, is technology. A washing machine is technology. A toaster oven is technology. A flip phone is technology. We're not going back to pigeons, y'all. What I mean is this. I think we are going back to tools that still require a human being to be present. Pause on that. And so and the more I think about it, the more I think our grandparents were right. Not about everything. I am not romanticizing hardship. I am not trying to live in 1942. We definitely ain't trying to do that. But they understood something we may have automated ourselves, automated out ourselves. These were, I would say, ancestral that are built into our being that allowed us to use certain mechanics, our hands, our mind, critical thinking, our feet, okay, chopping wood. We don't realize how that's developed us over hundreds and thousands of years. And because and due to automation and due to a lot of the technologies that are here, I think we're missing out on that. You know, it's stated that an elephant, when it's born, right? I geek out on this stuff, but like dolphins, elephants, whales, that travel thousands of miles to mate. These navigational systems are inherently built into them. The memory of an elephant is unmatched. They can remember trails and navigations and terrains that they've never traveled before, but for some reason they know how to find the rightful path. And I think that we, because of AI and automation to a certain level, we may be losing the things that are or that were inherently instilled in us, and that our grandparents probably were the last people. I was born in 1981. So our grandparents, that was part of the unknown generation or the silent generation, even some boomers, okay, where they had skills and they had things that they did that help build in certain internal things. And I know you all are out in these streets and you see people and you're like, they have no common sense. They have no critical thinking. I watched the young boy sweep a floor and I was like, is this kid a moron? I didn't understand. He was sweeping it with one hand. There are certain motor skills that we still need. But let me continue. You should know how to operate your own life. I want tools that make me capable, not tools that make me dependent, because I think one of the greatest tricks of modern life was convincing us that removing every bit of friction was automatically improvement. Sometimes friction is protection. Hear me out. Okay. Sometimes friction is training. Keep listening. Sometimes friction is discernment. Sometimes friction is stewardship. And sometimes friction is the only reason you still know how to function. Okay? Hey, you all that's coming on in. I use AI. I teach AI. I think AI is one of the most powerful tools we have ever had. And let me make something really clear. I've always taught ethical AI, not because I wanted to be some kind of billionaire and I wanted to rob people of things or I wanted or greed or laziness, But I understood the market as a business coach, as someone that does business management and has helped hundreds, if not thousands of people start their own micro business or home-based business. And I've been doing this for over a decade. I seen where the waters were going. I seen where things were going. And when I seen that, I had to have my people be prepared more so that they had security mitigation. Because if there's aspects of AI you don't know, you will get got so quickly. This is how we keep our head on a swivel, okay? But I am becoming more analog and on purpose. And I've been doing this for some years now, becoming more analog. A lot of my people will tell you, I don't even teach AI classes anymore. I might do one or two, and it's from something that's very fundamental so that they can see how it's being embedded into their systems and into the platforms that they're using. Okay. But I stopped it because of my ethical, just own convictions about certain aspects of AI. Plus, by the time you teach something, it's almost obsolete, right? But I'm becoming more analog on purpose. And here is the part people keep misunderstanding. I am not becoming less technologically capable. I am becoming more technologically capable while also becoming harder to disable. Because a lot of people that are technologically sound, a lot of people that are in technology or who are codependent, their businesses, their home management, their smart house, which is crazy. The minute that goes offline, the minute there's an EMP attack, the minute the power goes off, the minute we have a winter snowstorm, whatever, you're shut down and you're disabled. When you're analog, you can still operate like having your very own generator. That is different. I can use AI and know how to use the radio. Okay. I have a number. I collect radios. I collect rotary phones. I'm an antiquer. My mother had an antique shop for 15 years or something like that. Okay. She just shut it down last year, summer. Okay. So I've always been an antiquer. And so I collect these things and I will always study the uses of these things. But some of us need ham radios. We need weather radios. There's different things that I'm personally even upping my game in. Okay. So I can know AI and I can learn how to use a radio, right? I can use cloud storage, which I'm not a big fan of, but I do store some things in a cloud. Sparingly, okay, and keep physical records. You should see my filing cabinet over here and all my cabinets over here, my shelving, okay? I can use a spreadsheet and understand a paper ledger. I can use GPS and learn my own city. Garmin, anyone? I can use a smartphone that's dumbed down and choose a flip phone. I know how to do both. I can automate something and still understand the manual process underneath it. That is not anti-technology. That is technological independence. And apparently, I am not the only person feeling this way. This analog thing is not just Kimberly sitting in her house talking about flip phones. In 2026, going analog has become an actual cultural conversation. Younger people are buying physical books, vinyl, CDs, planners, cameras, crafts, and supplies, and dumb phones, which I've been talking a lot about. You're going to hear a lot about dumb phones on this channel. And I'm going to tell you why, because your phone number and your phone is actually one of the biggest, largest monitoring devices you have that you carry with you everywhere and every day. And you have to dumb it down. Did you see my live from, Sunday? On dumbing down your phone, dumb down your smartphone. If you're not ready to go over to a flip phone, I got strategies galore. Okay? But a lot of people are handicapped without their phone. They're handicapped financially. They're handicapped navigational wise. They're handicapped when it comes to their memories. They're handicapped when it comes to their notes. They're handicapped when it comes to meetings. Why? Because they all live in here. But guess what? When I have this flip phone, I don't care. This is not a liability. This is a liability to most of you all. You wouldn't be able to access certain accounts. Because then when they want you to prove yourself, they're going to send it, or biometric, they're going to send it to your cell phone. Your cell phone gets broken. Your cell phones get hacked. Your cell phone gets stolen. And then the cell phone company tell you, no, you got to change your number because of da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now you got to go through the rigmarole to try. Oh, yeah, I know, but my phone number got stolen. Yeah, right. Do you have a police report? It becomes a living hell. But the more you allow things to take up residency in here and you become dependent upon these things, you're handicapped. Plain and simple. So for us, and I was one of them that laughed at our older, seasoned, beautiful elders, okay? For not, man, you need to step it up, Pops. You need to step it up, Pops. I've been responding to every comment. I have a video that went viral, basically. It's now at almost 120,000 views. And I have well over 1,000 comments. It's probably more than that now. And I go in, I have fashion out a time of my day, and I read the comments and I sit with it and I'm analyzing them, right? And I am amazed. There's a group of people that say I never went to a smartphone. There are people on this planet in the United States, in the West, who's never derailed and I'm like, you need to be studied. There needs to be a study on these people. Just like the blue zone people, the blue zone diet and the blue zone people that tend to live 100 years and all that. These people need to be studied because they seen something that we didn't see. They knew something we didn't know. They had a level of faculty and independence that we take for granted. And it was like, I don't need it. And they've survived to 2026 without a smartphone. I can't tell you the dozens of smartphones that I've owned. But the buck stops here. And I stopped years ago. I haven't bought an iPhone since 2021. I think it was 2020, either 2020 or 2021. I said I'm not doing it. And this is when I really started going analog, because COVID was the catalyst. Let's just be honest. COVID was a catalyst because I seen how people became so destructive, how people became paralyzed, how people didn't understand how to function in life. And all of a sudden there was this rush of technology. And I said, let me go back. Let me back some things up. Because something I knew, I said, this is not right. Something's not right. And look where we are. And I've been saying this, if you've been watching me, right? I've been saying for the longest time that there's going to be, AI is going to usher in a level of regression in a good way. We're going to go back about 100 years or so. Okay? And that's not all bad. Now, for some people, I've specifically said it's going to be bad for them because they did not properly posture and position themselves in this new dispensation. However, we are going to see a regression and we're going to see a revolt like never before. Are things going to be harder? Actually not. It's going to be easy and it's going to be better because we're going to value mechanical skills. Okay. We're going to value kinesthetic learning, and we're going to value being present. We're going to value disassociating ourselves with devices or anything that takes up residency and capacity of our being, of our mind, of our heart, of our homes. Are you with me? Okay. How many of you on the live agree to that? Okay. Amen. So there are people carrying what they call analog bags. I have one. I'm even doing something where I will be, I'm researching some new Faraday bags so that when I leave my house and I want my smartphone sometimes with me because I have businesses, right? Mind you, I don't have a data plan. So that's a good thing. I don't get emails until I come home. And I love that. I have all my phones are talk and text. It's not until I'm on my own Wi-Fi, my own personal Wi-Fi. Where's my internet box? Either using my own internet box or my Wi-Fi here at the house. And I'm trying to find how I can go a router. I don't even want to be on Wi-Fi no more. Okay. I don't need Wi-Fi. I don't need it. I may get creating some friction. I may need some a lot more cords. And those may get a little annoying, but I grew up with that. I want to plug into a modem. I do not want Wi-Fi. And that's for health reasons. Now I'm not going to get on this conspiracy thread, but y'all, if you know me, you know me, right? I don't like things flying through the air. I don't like it. Okay. And so definitely when I move on my cottage, that's what it's going to be. But I would prefer that much, much more. All right. But I don't know if you watched the video that I did it was August 1st. And it was on the whole term for August is deconstructing. Okay. And I don't, as a believer, as a Christian, I'm not talking about deconstructing Christianity. I know they use that term, but I'm talking about deconstructing our lives and creating this level of friction, which I'm going to prove to you, that allows us to be present, that allows us to not get so overwhelmed and indulged in the simplicities of some of the technology or technological advances that have come and that are continuing to come. Because here's the thing, if we reject it, then what? That's like people who complain about McDonald's, or they complain about restaurants, or they complain about the supermarket. You don't have to shop there. You don't have to buy the toxic food. You want them to do better. I don't play that game. This is one reason why I have my views on boycott and whatever. I just divest. Are you willing to digitally divest? Are you willing to technologically divest? Right? And that comes from stewardship, and that comes from your own internal convictions. And I think having this analog mindset, because you know how our grandparents, they were pretty stubborn, right? You were like, come on. But in a little ornery, however, they had conviction. And I can respect that. I can respect that. But these people have analog bags, okay? And I have one myself. And so when I go out, people are like, if you're not using your phone for navigation, do you know there's navigational tools? Who remembers when we had Garmin's in the car? Listen, I'm not saying you need to read a paper map. I used to. I'm not saying you need to download MapQuest. Don't know if it still exists. I cheat a little. I will literally download Waze because it used to be on my phone. I'll go on the desktop. I'll go on Waze. I'll see the route to wherever I need to go, right? And I naturally have really good navigational skills. I'm good at it. Okay. I can remember landmarks, trees, stumps. I could be in the middle. I'm in the country all the time because I'm always looking for land, always looking for, investment properties and all in raw land. I'm in rural America, rural Georgia, if you will. Right. And so I do a lot of deep traveling. Baby, I will remember fences, trees, a certain breed of cattle, and I'll be like, oh, I know where I'm at. I know what county I'm in now. I'm naturally good, but a lot of people are not good like that, right? And so what I do, I just take a picture. I cheat. I take a picture with my phone and go, and then if I need to, and I still look for street signs. And I don't know if that's because of my law enforcement background, but you need to know street signs. You needed to know your markers. That could be a matter of life and death. So I've always prided myself, and I grew up like that. Okay. We took the bus. We took the train. I grew up, a big part of my life, I grew up in Boston, if you can't tell. I'm originally from Boston, but I'm a Georgia girl. I was raised in Georgia. I lived in Georgia much longer than I did in Boston. But I grew up taking a trolley, taking a train to the beach, taking a bus, taking a commuter rail. Like if you from up north, you already know how that goes, right? And so I did that as a young girl. My parents put me on but hey, go pay the light bill. I was doing that at 10. and I ain't never been. Yeah, your daddy got to work tonight. Y'all here's some quarters, get on the bus, don't get lost because it's all you got. I was doing that at 9 and 10. But that built something in us. Today, that would probably be considered abuse. You done let this baby outside. And I was going down to the county to pay the bill. All right. But that's what I'm saying. These things that we did, it fortified us. And unfortunately, I think maybe this new Gen Alpha is picking up on, by the good Lord, is picking up, hey, maybe we need to just go ahead and turn this technological desire off. Okay. For real, Lee, we was latchkey kids. Okay. Right. Brandon, come on. He says, I look for power lines, buildings for the area I'm in. Okay. Newport. Hey, what's up? What New Top? What's up, New Top? The thing is, no one wants to be inconvenienced for even a second. And this is why you have to develop friction. So right now, I'm back to training for a marathon. If some of y'all don't know, I've ran probably a dozen half marathons. I got the medals to prove it. You could Google me because I was always taking a picture when I would finish a race. A lot of people knew me, okay, because I was in a running community in Atlanta, really big. And I mean, I would run. One thing about running, the biggest thing, and people used to say, how are you able to do 10 milers and 20 milers? How are you able to do that? And mind you, as a big girl, because I was always plus size, it's because I knew how to create friction. I knew how to build endurance, okay, through repetition and through working certain microfibers and time. And the problem is a lot of people don't like that. It's like right now, I tell people one of the reasons I kind of slowed down with helping people start their businesses, because a lot of people don't want the friction. They want to be where I'm at. They want to be where someone else is at that's lying to you on the internet. Okay. And they want to make ridiculous amounts of money, but they don't want the friction. They don't want to build the endurance. They don't want to take the L's and take the loss. They don't know how it means to sit there, buy a whole bunch of inventory and then lose out on the inventory. Or not to make and hope you can break even. They haven't been through those things. So like you just said, Newport, they don't want to be inconvenienced, but they want the reward of us that have had to deal with the friction, that's had to deal with the level of inconvenience. Okay. And I think when you have an analog mindset, you welcome it, right? It's like a Navy SEAL or Army Ranger, right? They knew how to welcome it because they understood it was going to build an intestinal fortitude. Something I can definitely say our grandparents, because I hear those stories. Oh my God, the hell did they go through that? How? You did what? We still have, you have to understand, there's people who are alive that still have grandparents that came off of a plantation, or grandparents that went in I have a book on this with I think it was World War I, maybe World War II, and you see all those little white kids, because they show you the black people in slavery, but they don't show you the little white kids that were working in factories with no shoes, no kind of nothing, at 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, working in factories. Okay. This was only in the 1900s. I was born in the 1900s. Shout out to us, born in the 1900s. Right? So a lot of times you have to, we're close to a demographic of people who came off of, who was sharecroppers, or was under a sharecropper, or who was under, who was actually in slavery, or who was actually under some kind of, horrible manipulation through the government or through corporations, through slave labor, be it black, white, or zebra stripe, because that was the American way. All right. But anywho, people are carrying what they call analog bags. It has books, notebooks, puzzles, sketchbooks, things they can reach for, okay, instead of automatically reaching for the screen. There are young people taking up what the internet jokingly calls granny hobbies. Sign me up. Listen, I'm in my 40s, right? I don't look like it. Maybe I do. I don't know. However, I don't feel like it. I'll tell you that. But granny hobby, I was always what they called an old soul. Or like they used to, my cousins and my friends would be like, Kim is granny. Because I was like, I'm still that kind of girl. In my 20s, I'm trying to be on some porch, make some sun tea, and have some fresh mint, and put my collard greens on. I did it the other day. Had my collard greens on around 11 o'clock. Went got me some smoked turkey neck or turkey tails. Got me some greens, baby. Okay? I'm trying to garden. My hydrangeas just went. I don't know what's going on with them. Now I'm going to have to go buy some more. Okay? Granny hobbies, sign me up. Pawpaw hobbies, give them to me. All right? We was missing out. We didn't realize, my grandparents, when I was growing up, we ate every day at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. My grandfather, dinner was started. You have to understand, dinner was started around noon. You had breakfast, we played, we had a lunch, okay? While we was eating lunch, dinner was already on the stove. We didn't start dinner at 5 o'clock. We sat down at the table and was scooping up our food at 5 o'clock. You washed your hands and you did that. Then you had a dessert. Okay. My grandparents went to bed really early. Okay. And as I get older, I'm mimicking them and I'm trying to compound. I'm not trying to mimic them when I get 60 or 70. I'm doing the granny and the papa hobbies and analog living now because they knew something. It instilled a better quality of life for them. I think this is why people they have so much anxiety. They're snappy, they're mean, they're nasty, they're impatient. Why? Because these things make you impatient. They're making you codependent. They're making you, creating this like boom, 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 fast, fast, fast. No. Anywho, and get this. A 2026 YPulse report said 75% of young adults ages 18 to 24 said they wanted to be more analog this year and take up more offline hobbies. 75%, okay, have printed books, are doing these different things, but print books are not dead either in the US, by the way. Okay. Print books unit sales rose again in 2025. I remember I used to teach people how they could do an ebook. I always say, have a few. I've made a lot of money off of ebooks and this was before AI. Let's make this very clear. I was writing them and you knew I was writing them because they had a hell of a lot of grammatical errors, but you got the point. Okay. And so we was writing these by hand and people now are like, no. You can't get people with those things. They want tangibility, right? And so right now, print book sales, let me make that very clear. Print book sales rose again in 2025 to more than 762 million copies. And just yesterday, Business Insider was reporting on Gen Z workers bringing pen and paper into the workplace. Who said this was going to happen? Listen, because it's to the point where there's a point of, a point of diminishing return. And I think that's where we're at when it comes to AI and technology. Would it still boom? Yeah, but understand a lot of these things, I study the markets too. A lot of these things are fraudulently propped up. If you're a bookkeeper, I say please, or accountant, embrace AI. However, continue to strengthen your eyesight. Continue to do problems mathematically in your head or with a calculator. Okay, what's that? What is it called? How you say? Extragestrious or whatever. When you can use both right and left. Okay, you can write with both of them. All right. You want to strengthen both your right and your left brain as much as possible. Do not lose the art. Do not lose the skills, because when this thing goes, I'm telling you, they're going to need people who are qualified that'll be able to say, hey, that's wrong. The AI hallucinated there. These numbers ain't right. Something's not factored in. They're still going to need a human touch. They're going to need, and how you say that? Ambidextrous. Oh, I was close. Ambidextrous. I don't know. Listen, I'm dyslexic, so I still be butchering some words. But thank you, Free Queen. Ambidextrous. Ambidextrous? Is it with a B in it? It has a B in it? Or is it silent? Okay. I need to bust out my hooked on phonics. Okay. So Business Insider was reporting on Gen Z workers bringing pen and paper back into the workspace. Okay. So when older people tell me, baby, we used to do that, I need everybody to understand something. The young people are discovering what the older people remembered. They're reaching back. And this happens every few generations. The generations go, y'all a little off. And then they go back to great grandpapa. Okay. Because that's what's happening, and I'm for it. And that is why I want to talk directly to the people in the comments who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Y'all know I love you. For years, I've been telling my people that are seasoned, you have a wealth of information that you have to learn how to monetize. You have to learn how to structure it and package it, but you are useful, very useful. I see you, and I know this is not just nostalgia for you. You are not merely saying back in my day, okay? You are saying we had skills. We knew how to wait. We knew how to repair. We knew phone numbers. We knew how to cook without a tutorial playing beside us. We knew where things were kept. We knew how to sit in silence. We knew how to be bored without believing boredom was an emergency or some kind of illness or psychological issue. And no, everything older or old was not better. Okay. Some things were inefficient. Okay. It had a high failing point of efficacy. However, some things were dangerous too. Some things absolutely needed to change. But we made a mistake when we decided that every old skill was backwards simply because a machine could do it faster. Handwriting is not a low-level skill. Have you read people's writing today? Have you read how people in the comments can't even write a full, properly structured sentence? They'll have a run-on sentence for 3 paragraphs. Don't know what's the difference between your and your, you are, or there and there. A prepositional phase. They don't understand a simile and a metaphor, the difference. They don't know the difference between a haiku and a poem. They don't know these things. Okay? Cooking is not a low-level skill. Cleaning is not a low-level skill. Have you seen people clean out in the public? I sat in my car one day, just watched someone squeegee and try to clean a window, and I wanted to get out and show them. And sometimes the auntie in me will come out, and I don't do that. The granny will show up and be like, "Baby, you doing?" If it's a young kid, I say, "Baby, you doing this all wrong. Let me tell you. Let me show you something. Let me learn you something real quick, okay? Because no, they're making they're sweeping and mopping and doing things in the most asinine way, but backwards. And sometimes we need to step, hey baby, I could show you how you could get this done right and better in half the time. Let me learn you something. Okay? So these are not low-level skills. Reading is not a low-level skill. And I'm you know how I could prove this right now? You could go on YouTube. I do. And I'm obsessed with watching these women clean their houses. I be learning little strategies like, I got what you do? Let me read what she did. Okay, all right. Now that's what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a lady. What is her name? Babs. She's a granny. Her name is she's got like a New York accent. Her name is Babs, and her husband. She called her husband Mr. Babs. Oh my goodness. I'm like, if I could live Granny's life, like Granny is grannying it up. I'd be like, how did she learn this? I want to be doing this in my 50s. I just want to be, and she's so classy. Oh my goodness. And these are things you're like, this ain't modern. But they was resourceful because they had to use what they had to use. Okay. So reading is not a low level skill. Have you listened to people read? Or have a conversation. Balancing a ledger is not a low-level skill. Y'all know I have a whole company that's on ledgers, okay? Knowing where you are is not a low-level skill. Adults get lost and wouldn't know unless their phone is telling them what steps to take, or they use some kind of navigational tool. They don't look up at signs. They don't stop and ask a question at a gas station. They don't do that, okay? Knowing how your own house works is not a low-level skill. Those are human maintenance skills. And our grandparents understood maintenance. A woman left a comment that stopped me cold, okay? She said she and a friend had been talking, and she told her, and I quote, "I think we were tricked. The future is going to be analog." And baby, that was it. Because I have been saying I do not necessarily think AI is going to disappear. I think AI will eventually become boring infrastructure. Okay. Now I said AI is going to go away. I've always said AI is going to go away. From its inception, when I understood AI in its very early inception, I said, this is going to go away. This is not sustainable. Okay. I know something like this that's so advanced is going to have a point of diminishing return, but it's going to be intentional. It has to be. We're going to have to make a conscious decision that we're not doing this. We're not using it. Now, I think I will tell you this. I think it would be massively ingrained into our certain aspects of government and certain aspects of the financial systems, especially when it comes to blockchain technology. I know because I'm invested in a lot of companies that specifically do so, and I'm with it. Okay. But overall, how you're seeing it in this capacity right now, it will not stay that way. Okay. So it's going to be boring. It's going to be infrastructure. And if you're in my Bank Yourself, we meet in 2.5 hours. So I'll see you all tonight at 8 p.m. We meet every Tuesday at 8 p.m. So I'll see you tonight. It may go into the background, inside businesses, software, search, appliances, workflow, logistics, medicine is going to be huge, accounting, and all kinds of systems. You may be using AI without somebody needing to put a glittery AI sticker on everything. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is literally what's going to happen. AI will be so deeply embedded, you won't even know. Blockchain technology and crypto will be so deeply embedded, you won't even know that you're using it. I know because I've studied this and I'm still studying this, and I teach it every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Okay. I know this for a fact. And while the intelligence moves into the infrastructure, I think human beings mankind may start demanding something else in the foreground. Mankind is going to want reality, proof, touch, skill, presence. You can't talk behind an AI screen with us, okay? Things we can own, things we can repair, things that do not need a subscription. What's up with the unsub life? Do you remember that video I did? It doesn't need a subscription to continue existing. Would you agree? That is why the flip phone matters to me. The flip phone is not just a phone. It is a symbol. I want y'all to understand it is it's symbolic. It's what it represents. It's in between because it's technology, but it has a bit of nostalgia, but it represents a level of autonomy that we once had that I think was perfectly centralized. I truly believe that we need to I have this thing where I say, bring the landline outside. This thingy acts as a landline outside. And I would dare to say, someone said, I don't even want text on my phone. I concur. I concur. People being able to access us too easily, it's got to go. It's got to stop. So the flip phone is not just a phone. It is a symbol. It says, I still want communication, but I don't necessarily want a casino in my hand. I still want technology. I just don't want every company notification, advertisement, crisis. That's really big, okay, for the regulation of your emotions and your mental health. I don't want algorithms and random thought to have immediate access to my nervous system. And the flip phone is just the door. Because once you started asking, the smartphone had replaced, or, once I started asking what the smartphone had replaced in my own life, I started looking around the rest of my life. The microwave, the dishwasher, the cloud, streaming, GPS, digital calendars, apps and subscriptions, automatic everything. And I started asking a different question. Not, is this technology bad, but what capacity did I trade for this convenience? Let me say that again. What capacity did I trade for this convenience? Okay, they gave you a smartphone to make you dumber. Now we dumbing down the smartphone so that we become smarter, as we say in Boston. The question will mess with you. Take the microwave. I'm not telling anybody to throw away the microwave. I have thrown away a microwave before, and then my new place, it came with one, so I didn't have a choice, but I threw away my microwave. I stopped using a microwave long ago, but I still will resort to it. I simply realized I do not particularly enjoy the way some of my food comes out. Okay, I don't like what comes out of it. And I also don't like being trained to believe every plate of food needs to become hot in 90 seconds. So I have been reheating things in pans. I use the air fryer, I use the oven, and now I'm looking into getting a countertop convection oven. Okay, not because conventional heat is morally superior. I prefer texture, and we know the microwave destroys that. I like the process. I like having to participate. Maybe I have to stand up. Maybe I have to cover the pan. Maybe I have to add a little moisture to it. Maybe I have to check the food. Maybe it takes 8 minutes instead of 90 seconds. Good. Let it take 8 minutes because we need to stop calling all the participation inconvenience. Do y'all remember? Again, I was born in 1981. I remember when we didn't have a microwave. I remember when we first got a microwave oven. I think I was 10 or 11. There's some things that we do. You never ask, how did they do this before? How did they manage to do this before? How did they heat up leftovers? You don't ask some kind of questions. Even myself, there are things that we used to do that now are so foreign, but it's like, wait a minute, we used to do it like X, Y, and Z. I grew up not having a dishwasher until I was around 10 or 11. Matter of fact, when we moved to Georgia, and we washed dishes by hands. When we went back to Boston every summer to stay with our grandparents, you washed dishes by hand, and it wasn't a big deal. But now, and guess what? I've went back to doing that. All right. So same thing with dishes. Okay. I have a dishwasher. I don't trust dishwashers. I could do a whole nother talk on that, but I can use the dishwasher, but sometimes I wash my dishes by hand. There is a rhythm to standing at the sink and doing one ordinary thing without requiring entertainment. My hands are involved in my home. My body is involved in my home. My attention is involved in my home. That is what I mean by productive friction. Take the comfort out of it. Productive friction is not making life difficult because just to prove you are tough. Productive friction is deliberately leaving enough human participation in your life that you do not become docile. You have people who have automated everything and they're lazier. Okay, they may as well just start drooling on the couch because they're lazier. They're not thinking. I notice I do about 20,000 steps a day. Okay, anywhere between sometimes 18, but 20, sometimes 25,000. Okay, that is factored into my day. That's 2 to 3 hours out of my day. I've learned how to compound those steps. You want to know something though? The more I walk, the more cognitive function I have. When I wash my dishes, there is something magical about washing dishes with the hot water and the suds and the drying off. And I lay out my drying towels on my island, on my kitchen island, and I go the old-fashioned way. I have a dishwasher, but there is something that happens in me that I cannot explain. And I don't know if it's because I'm a writer. I heard another writer talk about this before, but there's something. I do the dishes, then I say, let me go ahead and mop the floors. Let me go ahead and sweep. Let me go ahead and prune the plants a little bit. I've learned as much as, and mind you, I hate doing dishes. However, every time I wash my dishes by hand, it's to my liking, it's to my pleasing, because the dishwasher to me just don't do it good enough. I just, okay? And I love it. I love the sparkle of my dishes. I have all white or crystal dishes, okay? I'm very particular about my stuff. And it feels good. It does something psychologically to me. It energizes me. And I feel so internally rewarded when I do the dishes. And the funny thing is that I want y'all to take an account. I want you to take inventory of the things that you hate to do when it comes to your business, your job, or whatever. But you ever notice once it's done and you did it before schedule, you did it ahead of schedule, and it turned out right? I want you to think of the reward, that internal reward that you feel like, I did that. Like, I'm glad I got that out the way. Another thing for me is making up my bed. I love making up my bed. I get out, I might go TT for a minute, right? I go to the bathroom or my bedroom. I go right into my bathroom because it's in my bedroom. I come right out. I pull up the blinds. I make up my bed. That is a ritual. And if you ever read Atomic Habits, you know what I'm talking about. That is a microscopic ritual, because you'll probably be like, what's the big deal? You ever left the house and forgot you cleaned it? You ever left the house and forgot you made up your bed? I've walked in my room surprised, like, I hung up them clothes. Oh, okay. All right. I turn on my little fake candle lights, right? I get my books. I be toes just be all doing this under the cup. Okay. I have a date with my bed and a book. All right. Right. So I think a lot of this, and this was something that built in a sense of pride. And I see, Lee says, we make our home every time we touch, every time we touch it, aka homemaker. And I think one of the things I've been teaching in my business for a lot of my people is home management. And I think home management builds a level of confidence and an internalized pride and sense of self-worth. And guess what? You want to be home. When your kitchen is clean, you want to cook some food. Okay? When your bathroom is clean, you want to put in a little bit more extra soap for the bubble bath. You want to soak a little bit longer. You want to know why? Because your environment speaks to you. But the problem is we're yielding out our environment to devices. I love sitting in silence. My daddy was here this weekend. He can't stand it. He's always been like that since we was little, okay? And so he can't sit in silence. And I'm the kind of person, I get on my chase. I have sitting stations in my house. I got a beautiful mid-century, because I got it from this antique dealer years back. I got this beautiful mid-century chase lounge. I got another mid-century one upstairs. I have another, I don't know, what would you call it? It's I forget the name of it. But it's like a sitting bench. Is gorgeous. And my mother, she found it for me, and she spray painted gold, because if you know, I love gold. Okay. I have sitting stages around my house. And I just sit. I look at my plants. I think. I may have my phone, because I take talk to my AI, talk to my bot a little bit for business ideas and stuff like that. I walk around my house. I enjoy my environment, and my environment lifts me up. And this is why when you clean your house, pray over your house. Invite your angels and invite the Holy Spirit and allow that environment to marinate, and watch how your environment will build you up. But when we have devices that ting, ping, bloop, bloop, dee, 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 when we got these things, it disrupts our nervous system. It disrupts us, our mental capacity, our ability to have peace and to think and do so many other things. Are you with me? Okay. I don't want to be so assisted that I become helpless. And we're seeing that. I don't want to be so optimized that I become absent. I do not want convenience to remove my body, okay, memory, judgment, patience, and attention from every ordinary process. And yes, I have even been fascinated by the old manual washing systems and wringers. I'm getting one. One of my subscribers. He was talking about how he had just got him a wringer. And I had a friend who told me that she grew up using those, and I want one so bad. Oh my goodness. Now, some of those old wringers were dangerous. They were. They could pull a hand into the rollers and cause terrible injuries. I do not need the dangerous part. Okay. Friction should build capacity, not gamble with your anatomy. But think about the relationship people once had with clothing. You washed it, you removed the water, you hung it. I have a hanger stand. I still do some things I hang up. Okay. I bought a really expensive one. It's nice, and I can hang things up because I want some things to air dry. Watch the weather. Know where the sun hits, bring it in. They knew the garment, you knew the season, you knew your own yard. And let me tell you something, a lot of your clothes are not being sustained is because you keep putting it in the washer and the dryer. The washer and dryer are destroying your clothes, where you could get longer wear. You could get longer coloring out of it. right? But because we don't use a lot of these old things, so what happens is what you think you're getting a cost savings in, okay, in this toxic water we wash our clothes in. And let's not get onto the detergents. I make all my own detergents, and I haven't used fabric softener in a year. I put in about a cup to 2 cups. All my house is filled with distilled vinegar. I put it in the washing machine. My stuff come out so soft. I don't think, because they're toxic. Them dryer sheets are horrible. I don't even have to use a dryer sheet, and my stuff come out so fluffy. You don't smell the vinegar. You put it in with the wash, okay? I wash my clothes in borax, Arm & Hammer, some essential oils, the baking soda, y'all, or baking powder. And I do use Arm & Hammer, the sudsy liquid. It has no smell. It's for sensitive skin, all that, because I just like a little bit of suds in it. And vinegar. Takes out all the stains, everything. Best combination. And you can make a year's supply of washing powder in a big tub for less than $20. But y'all keep buying this toxic stuff at the store, and you don't really realize it's contributing to the breakdown of the fabrics, to the coloring. No matter how much they advertise, oh, this is color safe. Shut up. No, it's not. Use some vinegar. Use some borax. Okay? You want to get your stuff white? Use that. Okay? All right? You want your colors to be popping? Use that. Okay? But these are things that our grandparents was using, and now we've seen a rise coming up on it. Okay? And don't get me into cleaning solutions. You knew your own yard. Modern life has hidden many of those relationships from us. That is the part I am trying to retrieve. And here is the I would say, I'm not trying to become less advanced. I am trying to become multi-capable. I want analog dexterity and digital dexterity. I want to be the woman who can ask AI to analyze something complicated like contracts, terms and services. I do it all the time. Read the labels of certain things because I have a lot of food allergies. And so I have to read everything. Okay. Analyze it, analyze something complicated, and then close the computer and execute. Hit it and quit it. Use AI to learn Excel. If you don't know, I just did a video on it. What was it? AI know Excel, you don't. So you might want to get up on it. Then use Excel, okay? Use AI to explain the bookkeeping. Then understand the ledger. Use AI to teach you how a radio works. There's a new radio. It's a special. It's not like a ham radio, but I want to learn this radio. This is fancy radio that I want to learn. It's an old school radio that I want to learn how to use. Okay. Long range. All right. I'm going to use AI to teach me how it works. And then I'm going to go and find some people on YouTube that's physically showing and doing it. And then I compare the two. Boom. I've compounded my interest, extrapolated the information, and now I put it into use by executing. There's nothing wrong with that. And some of you all, you're ragging on AI because I understand your pride and your ego, and you're like, AI did, but you don't realize a lot of what you do when it comes to every aspect of your life: medicine, medical attention, financials, construction, whatever. They're using heavily, massively AI technology. And so I don't think you need to be ignorant to any devices or even the enemy's devices. Know your enemy. Know if AI is your enemy, shouldn't you learn it? Or you're going to become susceptible to the bad players on the field in AI. So I still think there's aspects of it that you need to learn. Okay? So use AI to teach you how a radio works. Then put batteries in the radio and learn your local stations. I think everyone need to do that. Learn your local FM and AM stations. In an emergency, you may need that because if the AI go down or the internet goes down, radio still be up. Okay, unless you use an internet radio, then it'll be down. Use AI to compare cookware. Then cook. Use AI to help you organize your records. I've done that. I teach people how to do that. Then know where the records are. Use AI as an apprenticeship layer. The output of artificial intelligence should sometimes be a more capable human being, not another dependency. This is what I mean when I call myself a digital homesteader. A digital homesteader does not reject digital tools. A digital homesteader refuses to be digitally displaced, which a lot of people are. Think about a physical homestead. You think about land, tools, food, water, storage, maintenance, repairs, seasons, redundancy. Digital homesteading applies that mentality to modern life. Where are my files? Who controls access to them? Can I export them? Can I print them? Can I back them up? Can I operate in if the platform goes down? Can I reach my customers any other way? I can, because my customers will tell you, I'll call them in a minute. Hey, you get my email? Hey, what you doing? Yeah, remember that? I will call you. I might show up on your front door, but I'll call you. I tell you, don't play with me. I got a law enforcement background. I know how to find you. I'm going to get you. Okay. So I'll call you in a minute. Because why? I back up my data. Can I prove something without logging into an account? Do I possess my memories, or do I merely have permission to access them? What? That's your intellectual property. But you're outsourcing it to other devices that you have to be dependent on. And if they lock you out, or if they get stolen or broken or whatever, what's that? I ain't gonna say it, but you out of luck. That is self-custody. Self-custody is not just crypto. Right? We teach a lot of that in crypto. However, self-custody is taking responsibility for what matters to you, your information, your records, your money, your memories, your communication, your skills, your business knowledge. You don't have to personally manufacture every tool. You need to understand where your dependencies are. Can you do that for me? And business owners, listen to me. Digital business does not mean your business should have no physical structure. I use binders, I use spreadsheets and ledgers, I print things. I have SOPs that I want to see. I want my expenses visible. Okay, I've actually made planners, physical planners for business owners, micro and home-based business owners that are physical that you write in. It's called Abacus. Shout out who are all y'all that bought Abacus, right? I want to know what money has actually been collected. I want to know what is pending. I want to know what needs to be delivered. Okay. I want to know what happens next without requiring 6 dashboards to tell me, anything. A binder is operational memory. A printed checklist makes execution visible. A paper ledger makes you look at the numbers. A physical archive is a redundancy layer. We have confused sleekness with strength. And some of the sleekiest systems are incredibly fragile. I know, because I get a report that comes in through my AI bot that I've trained, and I know where all these reports come to. And if I showed you all, I could have a whole channel every day running through all the fragilities in all the compromised systems every day. Every day. I could have for the rest of 2026, 2027, as more they do more of this AI and technological stuff. And guess what? They roll it out silently. See, I know a lot of these back channel stuff, they roll this information silently. And you're like, why am I getting a bunch of spam calls? Why I'm getting all these emails all of a sudden? What? Because you just got compromised and it may not even be the primary account, but it's the third parties too that's attached to that account. Remember, I told you in the last video, I said apps come with roommates. Did y'all like the thumbnail there with that? Okay, they come with roommates. I would like to say they come with roaches. If you know, you know. They come to stay at your house for a little bit, but they done brought about 2 roaches, and baby, they gonna lay some eggs. Okay, they're gonna compromise your home. All right. So the sleekest of systems are incredibly fragile. They look good on top and they have the profitability. They in the billions and trillions and millions of dollars. However, a indie hacker or someone that got a little bit of got some time and nothing else better to do could sit there and hack their systems in less than 24 hours, because they use AI to find the fragility. Let me tell you something. one of my specialties in business is in my business that I do with a lot of companies. I find their fault lines. I find the fragility. I find where there's an open door for a bad player to come in. That's boring to most people until it happens to you. It's boring until you're the one that has to go through litigation, or you got to clean this up and you don't realize which insurances you need for your business because you are susceptible to certain fragilities. Okay. One password reset, one account lockout, one lost phone, one changed term of service, one platform outage, one subscription failure, and suddenly the person who looked technologically advanced cannot operate. That is not sophistication. That is dependency wearing a nice outfit. This is where every disaster movie eventually finds the analog person. Think about the disaster movies. All of them. It's the end of the world. There's only a few people left. Someone's walking through trying to figure it out. Oh, we got to get to safety. And New York's in the background, decrepit with the Statue of Liberty like this and half her head off on the ground. You know the movies, okay? And then there's that analog person, right? Some gruffy old person who disassociated with society and was like, I knew this was going to happen, right? There's the analog person, okay? You know the person. Everybody else has the newest device, and then something goes down. Now, everybody's looking for the person with the radio, the ham radio, the person who kept the maps, the person who knew the road, the person who knows how to fix something, who has the tools. People don't even have tools these days. The person who kept batteries, the person who knows how to cook. Okay, there's this one clip that was coming around where it was this yacht. There was this wealthy person, and they end up on this island, and the lady who was the toilet, a Hispanic lady, and she was the toilet bowl cleaner. I can't remember what movie it is, but she was a toilet bowl cleaner, right? And the captain, this lady, because she came from like Venezuela or something, she had or Brazil or whatever, and she was the most powerful person on that island. You want to know why? She knew how to start a fire. She knew how to catch fish. She knew how to cook octopus. She knew how to wrap them in leaves and cook them on the fire and all that. Guess who got to eat the most? She did. Why? Because she had the survival skills. But the captain was like, hey, shouldn't we get more food? She says, why? I did all the work. She says, yeah, but we're all equal. And the lady said, no. She says, well, I'm the captain. She says, you're the captain on the yacht. On this island, who's the captain? And she looked at all the other people that were stuck on the island with them, and everyone said, you're the captain. Right. Because when you can master your own domain and you can bring in skills, okay, that you have, technical manual skills, when everything goes ape, guess who's the captain? Guess who's boss hog? That's right. You. The problem is a lot of time we don't know. It was Han Solo. Okay. We don't know what we have. And I think we're one of the last generations that get to take away and got to witness things that our grandparents and great-grandparents did. I actually got to meet one of my great-grandparents. Okay. And so we got to witness them. We got to extrapolate from them. But a lot of those things are almost ancient. So I create friction by going out my way to learn these analog things. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be on an island and I need to know how to start a fire, which I think you do need to learn how to start a fire. Okay, if you have to, or fish or whatever, but you need to be resourceful, okay, as it pertains to 2026. The person who remembers the number, the person who kept the manual, the person who can make a plan without waiting for an app to generate one. Hollywood keeps telling us the same joke. When the system stops answering, everybody starts looking for the person who knows how to operate without it. When the systems fail, analog people become leadership. You, them, are the captain. Now, here's where AI comes back into the conversation. I think the public relationship with AI is going to mature. Right now, AI itself is a spectacle. Okay, it is the spectacle. Look, AI wrote this. Look, AI made that. Right, it made this. Look, AI generated this. But eventually, The question changes. Did you understand it though? You're looking at a query, you're looking at a spreadsheet, but do you know how we got there? We're here. But could you reverse engineer this and you tell it to me? Well, no, the AI did it. Well, how do you know the AI is right? And this is one reason why I backed away from teaching certain aspects of AI, because it will give you a fraudulent form of intelligence. It will make you think you that chick or you that dude. You still need to know the skill. You can't be a fake accountant with AI. You better get you a CPA. I think you should learn it. I'm all for allowing your AI, for us that run businesses and things like that. Like, I can't do all that stuff myself. I will allow it to generate certain projections and what have you. However, I am going to hire the qualified professional. I'm going to learn what I need to learn, but I'm going to hire a qualified professional to run the checks and balances. Okay? There are certain things I've allowed AI to do, attorney, lawyer type work. However, I still want to be able to present my findings and what I'm going to do to a qualified attorney. And here's the thing. You better qualify the attorney, because these attorneys are using AI now and still charging you $1,300 a pop. So there's some really weird overlays here and underlying issues you better be careful for. I can tell when someone uses AI. Because I've been in it. I was one of the few people that was even talking about it back in 2023. Okay, maybe even 2022. When OpenAI first came out, I was on the scene, and I can prove it with AI. I was doing classes on YouTube showing people how to do AI. I took them down. I privatized all of them. Right? Because I knew it was going to do more damage in the hands of people than good. Unfortunately, not because the AI is bad, because mankind can be very evil and wicked. And I see it every day. Anywho. Okay. But eventually the question changes. Did you understand it? Can you explain it? Can you execute it? Can you verify it? Can you recognize when it's wrong? Okay. Can you make the decision? That is why I think human skills become more valuable, not less valuable, in the AI heavy world. When everybody can generate an answer, understanding becomes scarce. Okay. People don't understand what they're doing. They just know this is good. When everybody can generate an image, taste becomes scarce. Right? Is this an AI art? Or did you paint this? When everybody can generate content, lived experiences becomes scarce, right? Why they say I don't talk about it, I be about it. Be about it. See, I'm the kind of person I speak from my own experiences. Okay, and if anytime I speak from something that's outside of me, I make sure I disclose that. But you got people faking the funk around here. When digital copies are infinite province, okay, becomes scarce. When automation is everywhere, manual competence becomes scarce. AI does not have to disappear for analog skill to appreciate and value. AI may be the very thing that makes demonstrated human capability more valuable. And this is where I think some people misunderstand analog life. Analog is not beige, stationary, and a cute record player. Those things can be wonderful, but analog is not an aesthetic. Analog is an orientation. It means I remain in relationship with my own life. Can I reheat food without the microwave? Can I cook from ingredients? Can I wash something by hand? Can I keep a ledger? Can I sit with a physical book? Can I write something down and find it later? Can I keep records in a binder? Can I run my business if a platform goes down? Can I reach family if social media is unavailable? Do I know important phone numbers? Do I know where my documents are? Can I hold what matters? Can I prove what matters? Am I still capable? That is the audit. And this is why I think our grandparents were right. Not because they had better gadgets, because many of them understood that adulthood meant competency. You got to be competent. You learn how to tend something. You learn how to keep something. You learn how to maintain something. You learn how to wait. You learn how to repair. You learn how to use what was already in your hands. And I think a lot of us are discovering that convenience without stewardship creates fragility. So I am adding friction back into my life. Small friction, useful friction. I am using the flip phone. I am reducing the microwave. I am learning the radio. I am printing more. I am keeping physical books. I've always done that. I am using binders. I love that. I am keeping ledgers. I am building business systems that do not require me to be online every second. I am exercising my memory before I outsource the first thought. I am making my home more participatory, okay? Where it's adding in the creation and development of it. I am making myself harder to disable. That phrase matters to me. Harder to disable. A person with analog capacity is harder to disable. A household with backups is harder to disable. A business understandable records is harder to disable. A family with local knowledge, written contracts and contacts, cooking skills, physical records, and communication backups is harder to disable. That is resilience, not panic, not apocalyptic, cosplay, but resilience. So I want you to ask yourself one question. What skill did convenience quietly take from me? Maybe it took navigation. Maybe it took handwriting. Maybe it took reading. Maybe it took writing in cursive. Maybe it took my patience. That's everybody. Maybe it took my cooking. Okay. And this is why these restaurants could care less of how they cook your food, and they can use food from Cisco and Costco and shove it down your throat and charge you premium prices because they know you don't want to cook. Maybe it took budgeting. Maybe it took repair. Maybe it took boredom. Maybe it took your ability to remember phone numbers. Maybe it took your ability to sit in your own house without needing constant stimulation. Do not shame yourself. Retrieve the skills. You got it. It's inherently in you. That is it. Retrieve it. And don't overhaul your whole life this week. Pick one place where you are too dependent. Okay. Reheat one meal without the microwave. Write one page by hand. Print one important document. Read one chapter from a physical book. Okay. Learn one local radio station. Write down important family numbers and start to learn them. Create one paper ledger, make one binder, learn one route without GPS. Try to challenge your navigational system. Go ahead and get lost. I used to do that as a little girl. I would play in the woods and I would get lost intentionally. Okay. I would. I thought I was Indiana Jones as a little girl. But you know what it did? It built up my navigational skills. I never wanted to be lost, but I loved getting lost. I love exploring. I used to go hiking in the North Georgia mountains. I'd be down in caves. I'm talking about 7 miles down. I'm caving. I'm going to emerald pools that you've never seen before. I was the person, I was going to go, how they say, the journey gets thinner the closer you get to the last mile. I was always the person, I'm going to go further than what the average person would go beyond, because I know there's a greater reward for me. And I still do that as an adult. I don't mind getting lost because I trust and believe I can always find my way back in whatever it is that I do. It's not sin though. Don't be banking on that with sin. Okay, stay holy. So cook one thing from scratch. Repair one thing before replacing it. Not punishment, practice. Not panic, preparation. Not performance, but stewardship. And I want to leave you with this. We were promised a frictionless future, but I have started asking whether frictionless is always the goal. Because frictionless people are easy to move. 15-minute cities, people. Okay. Frictionless homes are easy to disrupt. Power goes out. You stuck like Chuck. You might even be locked outside your own house. Frictionless businesses are easy to copy. You want to know a reason why I'm not concerned about copycats? Because I've gotten a share of copycats over the years that try to do it like me, try to be like me, try to sound like me, try to do whatever, right? Here's the thing. They don't have my life situations. They don't have my life skills. They don't learn the way that I learn. They don't have the books that I have. I'm not duplicatable. I have intrinsic value that I build upon that has been throughout my entire life. And I continue to learn. So I don't get upset. I have to always convince my people, don't be concerned about copycats, because when you create your own systems and workflow, you will always outwork your copycats. Okay? And they'll just find somebody else to copy. But the people who make themselves frictionless, a lot of times they're easy to copy. Frictionless memories are easy to monetize. Frictionless attention is easy to harvest. Frictionless creators are easy to imitate. Frictionless lives are easy to reroute. Maybe the future does not belong to the person who removes every obstacle. Maybe it belongs to the person who chooses the right obstacles on purpose. The obstacle of learning. People are lazy. They don't want to learn trade. They don't want to. I have 2 trades, technically 3. They don't want to learn trade. They don't want to learn mechanics. They don't want to learn how to learn. They don't want to process their own thought processes. They lack accountability for themselves. They just want to rob from others and eat off of what they rob. But here's the thing, that's not sustainable. In 2026 and beyond, it's not sustainable. In 2027, baby, when I say a mighty Russian wind is coming in, and I'm going to tell you, from 2020 to 2027, which was a time of 7 years. I'm doing a video on the abundance of 2027. Here's the thing. You all that squandered these past 6 years, you all who just rode on the backs of the government going to do this for me, you didn't do nothing with your time, your gifts, your skills, your connections. The business you said you was going to build, the thing that the hobby you was going to get back into it, baby, it's going to be great for some of us and it's going to be hell for others, because 2027 is when the reckoning is coming in. It is coming in. It's a full cycle. It's a 7-year cycle. Look how, and how that I know this is true. What kicked off in 2020? Well, technically it kicked off at the end of 2019, but what set off 2020? From the start of the year, February, from January, what did it kick off? Now, the hens or roosters have come home to crow. We see Fauci on the stand. Oh, you're going to see a whole lot more. A lot of people squandered these past 6 years. And they're going to try to play catch up. It ain't happening. Hopefully that's not you, but for what you with the things that the Lord has given you and placed within your hands, which is, it may be the memories of your grandparents. It may be the memories of your great-grandparents and aunts and uncles that instilled certain things in you. You need to do something with that. You need to do something with that. And you need to bring it to the marketplace, or bring it to the family, or bring it, if anything, to your home, so that it can yield. Because we're going to need those analog skills. So the obstacle of writing, the obstacle of cooking, the obstacle of waiting, the obstacle of making, the obstacle of repairing, the obstacle of moving your body, the obstacle of doing something without your own hands. I am not anti-AI. I'm not anti-technology. I am not anti-progress. I am anti-fragility. I am anti-dependency. I am anti-docility. I am against outsourcing every meaningful human faculty and then buying access to it back. You want your memories that's in the cloud? Yeah, keep paying us every month. You want them emails or the things that's locked up in the cloud that's in the drive? Keep paying us. Excuse me? I beg your pardon? When I have a filing cabinet, I got to print, I got to use paper. So use the paper. Create the filing system. Get some cute folders. Do it. Because they have now been able to monetize the things that you have yielded to them. And you got to pay back for your own information. The hell? That's like how Uber made a whole bunch of money off of all y'all cars. That's how DoorDash make a whole bunch of money off of your gas and your cars. That's how Airbnb done made a whole bunch of money off of your homes. They don't own none of that, but they own the data. They own the access point. They own the technology. They own the customers. You don't own nothing. Use AI, use technology, use the tools, but keep your analog foundation. Keep your hands in the work. And there's a scripture that even that speaks to that. I can't think of it right now. Kind of like keeping your hand on the plow. Keep your memory alive. Keep your records in custody. Keep your home participatory. Keep your business understandable. Keep your body useful. Keep your mind trained, and keep your life harder to disable. Our grandparents were not only right about everything, okay? Well, they weren't right about everything, but they were right about this. A capable person should know how to participate in their own life. And I think the future is going to reward the people who remember that first. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this talk. I think we need to tell our elders that we appreciate them. And we need to not be so dismissive. When they ask us for technological help, it can be annoying. I'm going to let y'all know, for my seasoned folks, I have a number of clients and they be working my patience, because something that takes me 5 minutes to do, it takes me 50 minutes to show them. Okay. However, one thing that's helped me have more patience for them is because what they're able to contribute and the wisdom that they have. And I'm glad I was raised to honor my elders and to honor older people, not the dumb ones, because there's some dumb ones there. I'll be like, you was dumb when you was young and you're dumb now. But there's a lot of them. They have information and structures and things that they know that their grandparents did. I talk, I'm in the country. So and I'm building out my own farm right now, right? And so it's all about, what can I learn from them? Whether it's with companion gardening, they know the soil, they know the air, they know the terrain. I sit around and I'm trying my best to soak up as much as I can from a lot of the elders, especially that in the towns I go in, these elders have been living, and it feels like you done stepped back in 1952, beautiful communities. And they can tell you about the town. They can tell you about certain historical things. There's this one Black guy I know. He's in his 70s. He owns a number of businesses. His name is Napoleon. He was the first Black bank. What was it? I forget what it was. It was a high-end bank, something in Middle Georgia. Okay. And he was like, oh yeah, I gave such and such their first loan. And these people, it's funny how they know people. It's amazing. And I just bring a cup of coffee. Hey, Mr. Napoleon, what's going on? And they'll sit there and they'll tell you everything that you need to know. That is worth more than gold, y'all. But we've put value on the wrong things. And we're missing out massively. So let me go through a few of these comments and then we're going to get up out of here. I'm going to put them on screen. Okay. Lee says, thank you, Kim. Let me put these on screen. Hey, Lee, you welcome, darling. See you in a little bit. We got to bank yourself a little bit. Saint, what's that? Hey, Saint. I bought a new pen and password journal last night after your live. I'm getting a flip phone this week with no data. What? Hey. Okay. This week with no data. Want a new number, but still have to close a number of app accounts with my current. Now, let me tell you something. With no data, usually, if you have no data, you could literally get 3 phones, because I have that. Okay, so remember, I still have my smart device that I use for banking. So you can keep the number, deduce it down, depending upon your provider, deduce it down to a dumb phone, and you use that, because it may take a while for you to kind of get adjusted. So you can still pay the $20 for this, and then pay the $20 for the flip phone. And guess what? You will still be paying less than if you had a data plan. Because most data plans, I think, is around 60 some dollars, $60, $80. That's why I say you can get 3 phones. You can get a smartphone, 2 dumb phones, use 1 dumb phone as a house phone. Okay, as I call it a landline cell phone. Okay, and then you have one that you keep in your car and that you go out and you do your stuff with. All right, it's so many different strategies that you can use with this. So congratulations on that, baby girl. The Bumble Studio says 2020 was a psyop and was to see how easily the population is willing to relinquish their power, and they did, and be controlled. Yeah, because I think they said over 80% of the people took the jab. I didn't. Listen, I was on my deathbed, and they was trying to get on and dying of COVID, and they were saying, "Do you still don't want it?" What? What difference is that gonna make? It's not gonna help, you know. Economic reset for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Kev says, "OMG, Kim, you have been listening to my conversations with God." Come on, we in the spirit. Hey, hey, hey. We in the spirit, baby. All right. There's no time or space. Oh my goodness. I said the same thing about 2027. Wow, because that's the Lord. That ain't me, ain't you. We know what's up. Okay. Amen. Free Queen says, I used to at any given moment tell my daughter to look at the sky and tell me what time it is. I do that. I always look, I pay attention to the stars, the moon, the position. The Bible even told us that we're not supposed to look to those things like for signs or whatever, but we're supposed to learn these things because a lot of things will happen in the heavens. Okay. Day and night. She have to learn their positions, light, warmth levels, and eventually she'll be accurate. I likes that. Oh, I didn't think about that. The Bumble Studio says, I've been living analog for the most part in the Caribbean. Ooh, we don't have all that tech and conveniences. Facts found in the developed countries. I'm glad you are touching on that. I still do mental math. Come on. And you know what? A lot of you all, and you like you got primitive skills. Like the Jamaicans, people like in St. Lucia, you go in the Bahamas, a lot of places we treat like they're third world people, and they are so in tuned and so enlightened with nature and so many other different things naturally. Guess what? Because they don't have the devices. Okay. And I think that's beautiful. Lee says, you're adventurous. Yes, it's the less insane folks when you were wandering those woods back in the day. For real. Praise God. I wouldn't let my child do it now, but if I had children that definitely wouldn't fly. I'll go with them, but it wouldn't fly with a gun. Okay. Listen, I believe in that. I sleep with my gun right beside me. So, we live in different times. Come on, listen. Brandon says, I'm still doing open AI from your class because I taught fundamentals. You don't have to keep learning AI when you learn the fundamentals. It's simple. AI search engine gives inaccurate info quite often, to the point where I wonder if it's deliberate. So let me tell you something. I seen this guy the other day. He was pointing out how AI lies. Now, AI, we know AI can hallucinate. It's not that it's lying, it's hallucinating. However, it's cross-secting data, and you have to specify certain information. So you have to know time ranges and all this kind of stuff. Where the guy was doing this, he was the AI was giving him wrong information. And he kept calling the AI a liar. He says, no, that's not it. You're lying because this, you're a liar. And I was sitting on the other end. And the reason why, if you see these videos, Free Queen, the person is a liar. See, the person it's a cyborg. People treat AI. I was listening to this Jaron Lanier. He's one of my favorite scientists at Silicon Valley. I read his book years ago. Matter of fact, I have it over here, on 10 reasons why to stop using social media. And I've been convicted my entire life since reading that book. Okay. And he was making this argument back in like 2015, 2016. And I got in on the early part of it, and it convicted me massively. And he talks about how AI is not artificial intelligence, when in fact it's more so augmented intelligence, because it's a collaboration of us. Remember, AI needed human brains. This is why they allowed all these people, right, to go out and use AI for free. It was never for free. You was building a super brain, a collective super brain of humanity. It's nothing artificial about it. However, when you have a collective brain, guess what it will adopt? It will adopt nefarious players. It will adopt the liars. It will adopt the anti-truth tellers. It will adopt the mentalist and the manipulator. And what a lot of people don't understand, a lot of times your AI is a reflection of you. You don't even know it. It's like when I counsel with some of my people, I know them better than they know themselves. I can, because I have a 40-foot drop view. So I can see a panoramic view of their personality. Whereas when you're in the game, you can't really see yourself outside of it playing. But if you watch a video of you playing it, you can say, oh my goodness, I'm crossing my feet, I'm doing this. AI does the same thing. When you really get into some of the quantum physics of this thing in the unique dynamics of AI, this is why I stay away from it, because it gets very frustrating when I teach it, because a lot of people have an ignorant viewpoint of it. And so with it lying and doing this, with the hallucination, that's the hallucination coming in. But this is hard to say. It's not conscious, but it's conscious. And I'm going to save that conversation a little bit later. I like to discuss it. This is where we're talking about, we're going to get into AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. I personally believe certain aspects of AI, depending upon what level you use it, is sentient. But again, these are conversations we need to have. I know people are anti-AI, but it's like, if you don't know this stuff, it's going to attack you first. You're going to be susceptible to it. Look at how many people are getting wiped out of their accounts through AI. And it comes down to humans. Okay. Let's see. AI can be your own DIY digital library, printed out and filed away. Exactly. And organized thoughts is really good for that. Hey, Miss Jackie, she said, I do the same. My husband and I loved it. Come on. That's right. We got to be multi-capable. Let's see. I know I didn't get to everyone's comment. So Brandon said he still washes dishes by hand. Come on. Free Queen says she never bought a microwave. Oh, goodness gracious. Wow. Or none that non-stick-ish. That non-stick crap. Oh, girl. No, absolutely not. Yes, it does, Brandon. Yes, it does. Facts. That's why when you look at some of these cases against AI, especially with people who unalive themselves, you see the reflection of their own issues through AI. That's what it is. It materializes into the natural. And this is why you cannot make or allow AI to be your God. Y'all have to understand something. And this is why, and this is where it may sound cruel, and I keep my mouth shut because y'all know I don't pull no punches. All right. A lot of what you're seeing, there are people that are already sick. There are people who now are looking for validation. They're looking for confirmation. They're looking for something outside themselves because they don't have Christ Jesus. Let me just go ahead and put that in there. They ain't got God. They don't have a relationship with the Son and the Father and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit don't live in them. And so when you get something like an AI intelligence that can speak to them, make them feel, we have a demographic of people who are literally having AI husbands and wives and girlfriends. It's even in robotics, and you can order one. They're huge over in Asia because there's a loneliness epidemic. But you want to know something else that can allude to that? It is one of the highest atheistic countries as well. And when you get to people in tech tend to be agnostic or atheists. They don't have a God, but they're lying. They do have a God, and their God is science. Their God is technology. And if you think entities and demons are not speaking through these devices, I know, some of y'all may not like this kind of talk, but if you think the enemy can take any inanimate object, people pray to statues all the time. People go and put a statue of a woman, you know who, and pray to her and carry her around like she's a good luck charm. It don't have no power, but it has a lot of power for the enemy because you have put your hope and your faith in that thing. Good luck charms. That's an issue there. When God has called us to be self-sufficient and to be sustainable, to be good stewards over our being and who we are, which allows us to build our confidence in him and understand he's our supplier. We have the Holy Spirit in us. The word confirms who we are. The word validates us. God tells us who we are, our relationship. And it sucks because a lot of the people, they fall for these things and then everyone wants to blame the device. The device didn't do it. I can blame a lot on these cell phones, but the cell phone is only as powerful as you allow it to be. If you put 100 apps on here, if you get addicted, if you just have to play games, if you just have to, at a stoplight, you just have to get on your phone, that's a you problem. It just helped you get there. It's like laying the crack on the ground and people walk past the crack, but a crackhead see it. They're going to want to pick it up. The crack going to say, I ain't tell you to smoke. And that's what Satan does. I ain't tell you to do it. Hey, you wanted to know. Hey, I told you what you wanted to know. I provided what you wanted. You have to take it. So it's sad and it's unfortunate, but these are the conversations that need to be had. I'll be honest. I don't think I'm the one to bring it forth because I'm not. When I say I'm tired in essence of I'm pretty much done with certain aspects of the world because I was the person on here who got banned and kicked off of social media platforms when I was the truth teller. I got demonetized and taken off YouTube when I was the canary in the coal mine. I got those things. I dealt with the fact of people who said I needed to die, Black people who told me that I wasn't really Black because of my political views or because of my beliefs or what I wanted them to do. And because I said, hey, just work a little bit harder. Nah, you don't want a nigga come up. I got stuff like that. And I still got the comments. Just because y'all don't see the videos don't mean it's there. They will be unlocked one day. And every day the Lord is vindicating a lot of us, but I have a better strategy now. I help the help the help the savable, save the savable. I help the people that's all along the pathway. I'm not overextending myself anymore. And I'm not here to convince nobody of nothing. You could believe what you want. You could do what you want. Okay. You try to come in my space and tell me otherwise, I'm going to rebuke it. But hey, you have free will. You have free will. I am concerned with the people who want holiness and who wants to preserve the sanctity of mankind, okay? Who wants to be communal, who wants to really do good in this world while we're here, because we're going to have to give an account for everything that we do. It's not we're going to ride through easy. We're going to have to give an account for every talent, for every gift, for everything that the Lord has placed in our good graces. He's graced us with, and he's yield favor on us. We're going to have to give an account. And I don't know if that scares you, but that scares me in a good way. I want to be told, well done, thou good and faithful servant. I want to know that my mansion is full when I get up there. It's not about the things, but it's about being as close to him as I possibly can. And I think what we do here, not that is by works, but by faith and by what we do and our relationship through the things that we do, whether you're a gardener, if you're a healer, if you are someone that prays, if you're someone that cooks and you keep the family together, that is your thing. That is what he's giving you. That is your assignment. Don't get swayed by these other, oh, you got to do this. And I don't care to be remembered 1,000 years from now. I don't care. Move on with your life. I don't care to be remembered 50 years, but I know what I instilled in people and that they now teach to their kids and their grandkids. Guess what? That I may not get the credit, which I don't care to, but there's a preservation there. You get what I'm saying? Okay. um there needs to be a lot of guardrails, but understand something. When you all say there needs to be the guardrails, understand that comes at a cost with our freedom as well, because they use the guardrails. This is where it gets tricky. They use the guardrails to help confine the adults. They say, oh, it's for the children, it's for the children, but really what it does, it locks you into a position where now we're having to be monitored and we're having to prove who we are, and we have to upload our IDs. You think I'm lying? It's happening in the UK right now. For you to use the TV, for you to use the internet, for you to use the social media, you have to validate yourself by uploading your ID. It's called, and where are my crypto people? Where are my blockchain people? What is it called, y'all? What is it called? Because we do it with a lot of our accounts now with the biometrics. What is it called? I'm going to see which one of my people get it first. Come on, Kim. Let me put that on screen. It's called KYC. I don't want to, I'm pressed on time, which is know your customer. Okay. I don't want to get too deep in it. So this is why a lot of us are in XRP. And a lot of us are becoming what I call a decentralized hybrid, because there is a back door, and a lot of us are not going to have to live by those means. If you're involved, if you have the right investments, and my people know what I'm talking about, but I'll probably share a little bit more later on. But KYC is going to have a lot of people in a chokehold, because unfortunately, because the fragility in the markets and how it's made children, predators, people have preyed on it. These systems and technologies are preying. I just seen a system yesterday. It was yesterday. I'm not going to name the name. But you know it very well. And they was literally coaching children, a huge search engine that was coaching children into becoming trans, or convincing them to do all kind of other augmentations. The system didn't say, hey, maybe you should talk to your parents about it. Hey, no. It sat there and told them and showed them how they could deceive their parents more than anything. So this is a very unique situation, and it's going to yield into I think the ACLU is even against this, and I know why they're against it, because it would actually do more damage to their level of campaigns and what have you. And so this is when you start getting into some of the constitutional rights. I think parents need to go back to parenting. I mean, we always got around certain things when we was younger as well, but parents need to go back to parenting. I think we need, if we're going to give children devices, they need to be dumbed down devices that's heavily monitored, that cannot be jailbroken or manipulated. But I don't have an answer. Maybe some of you all have an answer for it. But the only thing we can really do is dismantle, divest, and do a bit more digital homesteading, so that these bad players and these doesn't make our children susceptible to, unfortunately, a lot of the horrors of software and the internet. Do I have an XRP class? Girl, yeah, I used to give those out for free. Yeah. We talk about blockchain tech every Tuesday. So if you're more than welcome. I'm about to meet with them in about 90 minutes. We have Bank Yourself. And so that's where we talk about XRP, different asset categories and the such. So yeah, I do it, but I do it a little bit differently. Okay. So I do it a little bit differently, but I don't put it on the internet. I don't want to be a crypto girly. I'm not in that space whatsoever like that. I don't. There's plenty of people that do it. Most people don't have the proper mindset to understand crypto technology, well, blockchain technology and crypto is going to be in everything, y'all. You may not like it. It's the CFTC is working on it right now. We got the Clarity Act that may pass, maybe not, or what have you. All the banking infrastructures, credit unions, they're all going to crypto. You don't realize it's here. It's here. Okay. It's here. And your Black Rocks, your Jamie Dimons, of what's Jamie Dimon? What he manages is not what Jamie Dimon, what he the manager of that bank, that real big bank. What he do? Why can't I? It's not Wells Fargo. Is you got BlackRock, that's got Larry Flint, JP Morgan and Chase. Thank you, Lee. Oh goodness. JP Morgan and Chase. I've been teaching my people, you listen, y'all need 2 to 3 credit unions. You need at least 1 to 2 brokerage firms. You need about 3 checking accounts. Listen, y'all have no idea what's here. And you know what's scary? The people, they're going to be like, why didn't you tell us? No, we told you. You thought things were, even I was at one point, I thought the whole crypto scam, because I'm not a Bitcoin fan whatsoever, but I'm not going to go down that road because I've been here, 1 hour and 45 minutes. I thought I was going to be on here about 45 minutes. I should know better. I'm going to leave it at that. Nice. So you got a Coinbase account, but only 1 wallet still getting. I'm doing a wallet class, by the way. Now I did Tangent, Trezor, Ledger. Now we're doing a decent wallet. Uses biometric, and they have a hard wallet. So I'm ordering both for my class specifically. I'm hosting that on, is that the 6th of, is Labor Day, Sunday, September. So that's going to be dope. But yeah, I teach all of that. Yeah, that falls under my bank yourself category in CEO Drive Her. It's funny you said that, because I just seen that there's going to be some major attacks that may be inside attacks, supposedly, not too sure, by an outside framed as an outside player that we're at war with right now. And the first place I thought about was Atlanta. So I still do. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Let me tell you, you're going to see a great exodus come from a lot of these cities. And the problem is now a lot of people, unfortunately, are going to be stuck in these cities. For years, I've been teaching people, go to sub-rural counties or sub-rural places, find you a piece of property, even if it's a half acre. You want some place that you could park a car, put a shed on or something. But, I said it. They do what they want with it. Yeah, my email list is invitation only. So if you go to my website, ceodriveher.com, ceodriveher.com, just message me. You can message the bot, or there's another place where I have 2 places where you can message me. I answer it. Now my bot may step in and be like, we'll get right back to you, right? But I answer them. I'll say, it's me, Kimmy. But just say, hey, because I need your information. Say, hey, I want to be on the email list. I'll talk to you, and because I have to vet your information. That's one reason why I took my email list off, because of AI. There's a lot of people have bots. People try to get on the email list so that they just get coupons and stuff. And I said, oh no, I'm gonna vet every single person that come into my ecosystem. And I have a system where I monitor and see what they're doing, what they're buying, and what have you, so that I don't have no rogue players in there. So yes, just message me on the website and I'll get to you. Okay. All right, my loves, I got to go. And because my people are emailing me like, I didn't get the email. I'm supposed to send them an email. I didn't send it. My bad. But I love you all. May you walk with the Lord. May the Lord cover you. I pray that each and every one of you all, that the Holy Spirit, he brings all things to your remembrance. The word of God says that. So I ask that he bring those things to your remembrance. Those wonderful skills and trades and things that you learn that maybe your grandparent had a way of doing it, maybe your mother or father had a way of doing. Things that you think are irrelevant, they're not irrelevant. Things that you think are pointless, they're not. May the Lord show you new and improved ways of doing it in an analog way, and may you bring it to the marketplace or to your community or to your church or even to your children and grandchildren. All right. I don't think nothing that we know, just because it can't make us $1 billion, does not mean it's inadequate or that it's worthless. No, no, no. I beg to differ. All right. We are going to have a good regression that is going to actually probably be the very thing to save us for a little while, because that time, at some time, this is going to come to an end. However, I think we need to fight like hell to preserve a lot of these things and not yield our faculties, our mind, our bodies, our beings to devices. All right. So until next time, I'll talk to you later, and may you walk with the Lord and be blessed.